Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ and Johnny Giavotella, and he's an interesting guy. If you look at his vision, it's 89. I mean, he is dead money when making contact. I like that. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually going to move him up because I like what he did in that AAA game. Let's add him to the 40-man roster really quick and let's move him up. I like what he did in the last game. And Starlin Castro's actually going to move over to shortstop. So what does that mean? That means that Leury Garcia is going to move to the outfield, his natural position. And I'm actually going to move Scott Van Slyke, either Scott Van Slyke or Derek Dietrich down. I think I'm going to keep Derek Dietrich up because it seems like he hits for a little bit of power. He has decent attributes, but it just doesn't seem like it translates to the game. So I like Scott Van Slyke going down. I think out of all the backups here, I think he's the safest one I can move down. Let's see if there's any more. Garrett Cooper I actually like coming off the bench. Yeah, so I think I'm going to move down Scott Van Slyke. He can hit versus lefts, but he's a liability in the field. So I'm actually going to move him down. Actually, let's see what. Yeah, so I can move him down to AAA. So Johnny Giavotella is going to start this game. And we're going up against Jacob deGrom. And look at him. He's 7-0. He's 7-0 with a 1.75 ERA. Let's actually go over to him really quick. Let's look at Jacob deGrom. So, if you look at his attributes, I mean, he is just a monster. He's 90 overall, 8 potential, 29 years old, but 0.96 whip, 1.75 ERA, 64 strikeouts to 14 walks, and he's undefeated as a starter. So we're going to be looking to ruin that perfect record this season. And we're towards the end of this calendar month. So we got the Mets. Then we got the Nationals. So I think I'm going to play this next game. We got Despaigne once again on the mound. Seems like we're always showing Despaigne, but he is going up against Jacob deGrom. So I do want to play this game. I actually do want to play the next game too. So I might show these back-to-back games to see if we can sweep the Mets. Because if you look at our last series, remember we won that extra inning game, but then we ended up going to Atlanta and sweeping them on the road. Look at this last game. We won 11-0. And Jose Arena actually got the victory. But speaking of Jose Arena, we do have an update as far as he goes. And if you look at this, man, we have our another storyline coming in. Jose Arena demoted to AAA after a poor performance at the MLB level to start the 2018 season. Sources tell ESPN. So this is actually going to be good for him. I think he needs to get some work at AAA. I think he just didn't do too well. And look at his whip, 1.48, 4.67 ERA. But look at this, he had more walks than strikeouts. So he definitely needs some work down in the minor leagues. So hopefully that'll be good for him. But let's hop into this action, man. Going up against Jacob deGrom, undefeated. Can we upset them? Let's get it. Let's go. So Adesanya Despaigne is going to be on the mound for us. And you know what I like about him is that he's got 27 strikeouts to 6 walks. I mean, that's a very, very good ratio if you think about how bad our pitching staff is. He's the one bright spot in it. So here to face the Mets, one thing I hate about facing the Mets is Cespedes. I mean, I just have nightmares about that guy. Every time I play them, it seems like he just hits the ball well as he comes up to bat and drives in the first run of the game as Jose Reyes comes around to score on that one. So it's going to be a 1-0 lead here early on in this game. And here is Todd Frazier coming up. This is weird seeing him in a Mets uniform as he pops it up to the shortstop that time. So now there's 2 outs in the inning, 3-2 count. Jay Bruce is going to strike out swinging. So that's going to be only 1 run surrendered, but still 1 run. And here's Jacob deGrom, who's 7-0, 64 strikeouts to 14 walks, 0.96 whip. I mean, he is just beasting this year. Probably an early Cy Young favorite in the major leagues. So here's Justin Bour already up in the 4th, already doubled in this game. So he's 1 for 1. And here he is getting going. He is a bad man. Justin Bour is having a great season for us so far, hitting the ball. And I mean, this is the one bright spot in our lineup. It seems like this is the one consistent guy I can depend on game in and game out, as he just drives that one off of a pitcher that's been hot to start this season, and he ties this game up on one swing of the bat. And here is Cespedes one more time in the bottom of the fourth. And like I said, I like to pitch around him as we walk him. I didn't mean to walk him, but I mean, we let him go to first base on that one. So here's Todd Frazier coming up, going opposite field on that one, and moving Cespedes over to second base. So now guys on first and second here in the bottom of the fourth inning, and Jay Bruce drives one down the right field line as Martin Prado fields that one off the wall, gets it to the cutoff man, but not before one run comes in to score. But there's still no outs in this inning. And a big fly here to right field. Martin Prado is going to field this one deep, and that one's going to be warning track power, but we do get it in, but not before another run comes in, and it's going to be a 3-1 game as Asdrubal Carrera comes up to bat with a 3-0 count, and we walk him. So Despaigne isn't having the game that I thought he would have. He's giving up 3 runs. So Travis d'Arnaud comes up, swings at an outside pitch this time, and that gets us to 2 outs in the inning as we get the next batter to ground out to Brian Anderson, but not before giving up 2 runs in the inning. So now we face a 3-1 deficit as Lewis Brinson comes up, and Lewis Brinson's actually been slumping a little bit. I'm hoping for a better month next month, because he's not been hitting good this month, but he does get a hit this time, and he starts out the inning with 1 out at first base. And here is actually, you know, one thing I love about Gia Vitella is that he just hits the ball hard. I mean, it just doesn't matter, you know, where the pitch is. He hits the ball hard. He makes solid contact each time as he moves Lewis Brinson over to third base. And Brian Anderson, hitting the 3-hole this game, hits the sacrifice fly that time and brings in the runner from third base. So now it's 2-3. We have a 2-3 deficit now, but Justin Bour lines out to the center fielder. So now still down by 1 run. Here in the top of the 7th inning, this time Starlin Castro's going to drive one to the left center gap, and that one's going to be a stand-up double. And we're in business, man. We got 1 run to make up here, but the Mets manager has seen enough and brings in a righty out of the bullpen, Anthony Swarzak, and he's a decent relief pitcher, but facing Martin Prado, he does get him to strike out on the low slider that time. So now Luis Garcia is going to come up with the opportunity, but pops it up to the shortstop Jose Reyes. So now we go down into the 9th inning, and Jeurys Familia is coming on in for the save. He's got a 3 ERA, 0-3 record actually. And here is Justin Bour facing him in his first at bat, and he grooves one past the second baseman. I'm surprised they didn't have the shift on that time. There's nobody on base, but that one squeaks through the infield. So now up comes JT Realmuto, but a hard liner back at the second baseman. So now 1 out, still Justin Bour on first base, and here's Starlin Castro with an opportunity at the plate, and he hits one past the second baseman as well. And Justin Bour's going to round second, but he has second thoughts about it. He goes back. So now we got guys on first and second. Martin Prado at the plate, and he hits a little chopper, but luckily it's a slow roller and it's not a double play. So now we got guys on second and third with an opportunity to take the lead and tie the game up, but he intentionally walks Luis Garcia. Familia does, and now it's going to be bases juiced. JT Riddle was the hero a couple games ago. Can he do it again with a 2-1 count? He hits a pop-up to left field with the bases loaded, 2 outs, and that's going to be the game. And we're going to fall to the Mets in this game. And you know, one thing that I've been looking for is Lewis Brinson to get going. He went 2 for 4 in this game, but I need to see some consistency out of him. I mean, we just need our top of the lineup to produce more runs, and Gia Vitella actually is hitting pretty good in his first couple games up at the major league level at the 2 spot. I like him there. He's actually hitting 500 right now. But Trevor Cahill starting the next game versus the Nationals and facing Bryce Harper early on in the first inning, giving up a big fly. That's a no-doubter out of the park. and Bryce Harper absolutely grooves that one, and the Nationals take a 1-run lead, and this is a 3-game series with the Nationals, so we can possibly, get a string of wins going versus the best team in our division. But here is Michael Taylor getting going as well in the 2nd inning, and that's going to be 2 early home runs given up by Trevor Cahill, and that one's going to be to probably a non-power hitter on that one, but they take the early 2-0 lead, and the Washington Nationals start with Gio Gonzalez on the mound. And he's been doing decent this season. Not great, not bad. So here is Castro, though, at the plate here in the 4th inning, driving one to the left center gap. And, Castro started out really, really hot. He started out with a hot start in the beginning of the season. It's kind of cooled off a little bit, but I think he's starting to get going. But here's Justin Bour, who's definitely been hot. And he drives in Castro with a hit up the middle. So now it's a 2-1 lead for the Washington Nationals as Castro comes around to score, with JT Realmuto coming up next. Hits a pop-up this time to Bryce Harper in right field. So now facing 2 outs in the inning. Brian Anderson with a chance here, and he drives one deep to left field, but the left fielder, Taylor's going to just camp under that one. Almost warning track power. But now we have to face Anthony Rendon. Trevor Cahill still on the mound in the 5th inning as Rendon gets the hit to right field. Martin Prado fields it, and that's going to be an early runner here for the Nationals. And here is Taylor once again hitting the grounder up the middle, but Giovitella just doesn't have the arm strength to turn 2 by himself. So now 1 out in this inning. Miguel Montero coming up and gets a nice pitch to hit, this time to left center, and that one's going to be off the center field wall, and Lewis Brinson doesn't field it properly off the wall, and Miguel Montero still got 2 speed. He's going to get over to third base for the triple, but not before another run comes in to score. So Montero drives that run in, and here's Gio Gonzalez in to hit, and he helps himself out. And that's going to be another run surrendered here by Cahill in the 5th inning. So we bring in Brian Ellington. That's going to be the end of Cahill's day. Comes in with the situation. Guy on first base, but giving up a hit past the shortstop that time, Starlin Castro. And now with a guy on first and second this time Adam Eaton's going to get walked. And you know who's next up to bat, Bryce Harper, who hit the homer last time. So we bring in Tony Zych to possibly get us out of this scenario. But the 2-1 count serves one up to Bryce Harper, and he drives it to center field. And that one's going to be a grand slam for Bryce Harper, his 2nd home run of the game. And that's going to be a 7-run deficit for the Marlins in this game. And I mean, we got a lot of ground to make up. So in the bottom half of this inning, Leary Garcia is getting hit by a pitch and getting on first base, and Martin Prado comes up with a hit down the line. So showing a little sign of life here, but a 7-run deficit is definitely a lot, and Gio Gonzalez probably has a long leash at this point. So here's Garrett Cooper coming in to hit for the pitcher this time and driving in the run off the bench. And Garrett Cooper's actually been pretty good pinch hitting this year so far. But like I said, Lewis Brinson last game, he just hasn't been consistent in this franchise so far. Just hasn't been consistent enough for me. But I have faith in him that he'll eventually come around, because I like him in the leadoff spot. He's got the speed. He doesn't really steal bases too much, but he hits pretty well. I mean, when he makes contact, he hits the ball pretty well. But I'm looking for him to get going as Giovitella comes up, and he's been hitting great at the major league level, driving in a run. So a sacrifice fly makes it a 8-3 lead for the Nationals. But Starlin Castro comes up with 2 outs, gets a perfect pitch on the outside part of the plate, drives it to the right center gap, but that one's going to be caught by the center fielder that time. So now Martin Prado comes in 1 for 2 to this point in the bottom of the 7th inning. 3-2 count, and he's going to hit one to the opposite field. But I mean, it's a start, but we're down by 5 runs. We have a lot of ground to make up, and Lewis Brinson comes up 0 for 3 to this point, but this time gets a hanger on the inside corner, but somehow muscles it to right field, and Bryce Harper's going to be under that one. So now Giovatello comes up, 3-2 count, 2 outs, but he's going to get a hit up the middle. And how impressive is Giovatello, man? He's just getting hit after hit after hit, and he at least extends this inning. And here's Starlin Castro, another inside pitch. So now bases loaded for Sean Kelly coming in from the bullpen, and you know who's at the plate, Justin Bour, who is our best hitter up to this point, and he's coming in, possibly can get us down by 1 run with the big fly, but he strikes out at the high heater, swinging at a pitch outside of the zone, and that's gonna be it for Justin Bour at the plate, because Sean Doolittle comes up to pitch in the 9th inning to close this one out of the bullpen. And Derek Dietrich in the pinch hit hits a liner to Bryce Harper that time. So now Lewis Brinson comes up, 3-2 count, and he just cannot get going in this game as he grounds out for another 0-for-5 game for Lewis Brinson. And here's Giovatello one more time, 1-2 count, and like I said, this man is just money. He keeps this inning alive. He just finds a way to get hits. And Giovatello is hitting way over 500. He's hitting 667 in his few games at the major league level as Starlin Castro flies out to Bryce Harper, the man who killed us this game. And that's going to be a loss for the Marlins in this one. And we'll see how the rest of this series finishes it out, but we don't start it out on a good note. And we do get 10 hits in this game. And Giovatello, man, I mean, he is just money at the top of the lineup. If we can just get Brinson on base, I think we might have something cooking with the top of this lineup. We'll see how it goes, but hit subscribe, hit that like button, because we're getting towards the middle part of the season. The draft is coming up. We got a bunch of stuff coming up, the trade deadline, the draft, so you don't want to miss any action coming up. So let's get it. Let's go.